Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, ATHLers. Welcome to my Tuesday show. My name is Abby Tyler. I am your host. I'm a practicing family nurse practitioner, content creator, community health volunteer, and health contributor to other shows as well. Welcome, 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 welcome. Quick my disclaimer. Whatever I say here should not take the place of you checking out with your own primary care provider before making any changes. So nothing I say should change and make any changes before you talk to your own provider. Okay, so welcome to you all. Welcome to my new followers. Welcome to my regular people. Happy anniversary again. I had our anniversary show on Sunday. So happy this we're going into our 8th year now. So happy anniversary, ATHLers. Thank you all for joining me today. For those of you who will be joining me today, I say thank you. For those who will be joining me later, I say thank you as well. Please share the show. Please share the show. Share it on your personal pages. Share it to your groups and share it and share it and share it. Okay, so as you can see, the title of the show is Health and Safety Tips for Back to School. Most of our kids have gone back to school. Surprisingly, some started like 2 weeks ago. Most of them will be going after by the end of this month, and also some will be going after the holiday, after the Labor Day holiday. So, welcome. I have a couple of tips for going back to school, health and safety tips. So, the topic today is health and safety tips for back to school. Before we start, I just like to take a moment of silence for those students who we've lost over the years and instructors, educators, and also everybody else who was working along with our kids. Just take a moment of silence for me, please. Okay. Uh, so uh, we're starting on. So I would get right into the topic there. We prayed this year. I'm going to put my glasses on. We prayed this year that it's going to be safe for our students, our children, our students, the principal, the teachers, the lunch crew, the janitorial services, coaches, everybody, but school bus drivers, everybody as tutors, everybody who's comes in contact with our children this year. We pray to God that they all have a safe year. And for those of you or anybody else who has children who has any kind of mental issues or going through any kind of problems, please, please, please talk it over with their doctors and try to get help. Okay, so we're going to go right into the topic here. So by this time, everybody has already joined and gotten their nice clothes and gotten their nice shoes and got everything ready for the kids to go back to school. For those of you who haven't done it yet, that's okay because it's a busy week. Let me just go in here and I'm going to just go here. Okay. So and put my comments up. Okay. So especially for some of us who back in the day, I went to private school, all girls school, St. Teresa's Convent. Yay! So it was like uniform. We all had nice uniforms and belts. I always lost my belt until one day my mother got tired and just kind of sewed my belt to my jumper. So that was before they changed our uniform to the one they're wearing now. So, but whether you go to private school, you go to school uniform, but anyway, everybody excited to go back to school. Some kids are not that excited to go back to school for many other reasons. So let's get to the tip number one. Make sure you're getting the checkup first, okay? So prior to going back to school, I don't know if there's some schools don't require it, some schools do. So, but even if they don't, make sure you have seen your kids have seen their pediatrician. By the way, I got this article from this nice pediatrician too, and I added my part to that. Make sure they're seeing their primary care physician. Make sure they have any kind of blood work that needed to be done has already been done. So usually it's like every year, anyways, they need to get the blood work. So, but just make sure that all of that is done, and they have they're going to get to school the first week. They're going to get all the emergency paperwork and all the health information that has to be filled out. So make sure all that is done. So when you do take it to the doctor's office, they can just kind of fill it up real quick and give it back to you. Based on your medical history as well. So if you're the parent and you have certain medical history and things that have started with you in your childhood or maybe later on early in life, in your adult life, make sure that it's also told to the pediatrician so all that they can start doing blood work and start doing any kind of testing that they can prevent it or delay as much as possible. So it's important that they go see their family doctor, the pediatrician every year. If they don't see a pediatrician, they see a regular physician that also takes care of children. That's also okay. So making sure they follow up and go see their doctor before that. Okay, and they need to go get their teeth fixed, so to go to the dentist. Also making sure they have the cleaning. I did a importance of seeing a dentist. I did a show on that, so go back on my page. For those of you who are watching from other places like Focus in Liberia, you can go on Abby Tyler's Healthy Living page and see the videos there. Okay, also making sure that they've seen the eye doctor, even if they don't have any eye problem, making sure they have get their eyes checked. I also did a show on vision care too, so you can go back and see that. Okay. Number two, making sure that they have all the immunizations up to date, because most school, if you don't have that, especially if you move from one school district to the next school district or move from another state to another state, you have to check first to make sure what they need for the immunization. It has to be up to date before they can go back to school. Now, I don't know if they're required. Some schools are still requiring the COVID vaccine, so make sure you check with them before you go to school. I'm not here to talk about the politics of COVID vaccine. If your schools require it, check with them first and see what your exemption rules are and go with that. Okay. In the meantime, COVID is still around, so be careful. For those of you who have asthma, diabetes, kidney disease, and all those different things that impair your fighting your body's ability to fight an infectious disease, make sure that you check with your doctor to see if you need to get vaccinated and also get your booster. And that goes for younger ones as well. Okay, so vaccines, they protect people, and when more people in the community, or and also children, when they're vaccinated, that way it can pretty much wipe out certain diseases. But when more people are not vaccinated, whatever is there, it just go from one person to the next, and people keep getting sicker and sicker and sicker. So make sure you check with your school district to see what vaccines are needed and get that done before school starts. Okay, number three, updated medical information, of course. Again, like I said, they're going to be asking for their medical card. So make sure whatever happened over the weekend, over the summer, and all, make sure you update that, because the school has school nurses. Some places, the school nurse works like maybe 2 to 3 different schools. So it's important that you update the medical information, God forbid, for any kind of emergency, that they can call you. And also when they call the hospital, when they call the EMS, the ambulance service, and all, if the child has to go to the hospital, they have all that information that they can give right away prior to them calling you as well. Okay, so make sure you do it. And that also go for allergies. If there are any kind of allergies that developed during the summer that wasn't on the card last year, make sure you also update that. Okay, do not send any medication. If your kids have medications, they're going to be asking you. And remember, the doctors also have to write down the medication the child takes, that the child is supposed to take at home. What the doctor has to write that. Okay, doctor, your provider has to write that, and they have to have the signature. So you can't just say, I'm bringing this medication to my child's school, and they're gonna know what to do. Don't take any medication otherwise with your child. Make sure everything is set directly over to the school, and the school nurse will be able to administer that medication. Some kids have to take their nebulizer treatment, or take seizure medication, or medication for ADHD. All that has to be sent to the school and have it there. The school nurse will be able to administer that when they need to do it. I think a couple of years ago, one of the kids went took preparation H, that's for hemorrhoids, and they took it to school, and all these kids were like tasting it and doing that. So you can see how dangerous that is. If they had taken something even more dangerous than that, that alone is dangerous. That shouldn't be taken by mouth. So make sure that you keep the medications in safe places, and make sure when your kids are going to school when they're younger, check their bags to make sure that they're not taking something that's unsafe. All right. Number four, review your safety rules. Remember, tell your kids never to talk to strangers. Strangers is anybody that you don't know. Strangers not this big bad boogeyman. The stranger could be anybody, like a family member or a friend who you guys don't feel safe around, but they could be trying around and trying to and go there and trying to get to your kids. So don't talk to strangers. Don't, and people that you don't talk to anymore, tell them also don't talk to them. Develop a code word between you and your kids, that if somebody says, I'm coming to the school, because the school you have to write down all the people who can pick them up anyways. But these kids could be at like a playground place, or they could be somewhere and they say, okay, somebody to pick me up, or your mom sent me to pick you up. And it could be, in our culture, you have so many other people that can pick them up when they go to somewhere. Oh, let me just call my brother to pick you up. Let me just call my sister to pick you up. Let me call my cousin to pick you up. What if that could be a stranger to that person too. So develop a code word that only you and the kids will know. And if the person has to keep guessing the word, if you ask the person, tell your child, what's the code word? If the person's guessing, oh yeah, toilet paper. Oh, let me see, what is it? Lamp. Let me see. If that person's guessing, they're trying to get your child to say it. So if that's the case, if the person does not know it right away, make sure that child does not go and start yelling. So whoever other adults are in the area can take them and protect them until they call you. Okay, so develop the code word. Right? Teach your children, your younger children, older children, by then they should know it. Teach your children the address and the phone number and instructions how to contact you if there's any kind of emergencies. Instruct a parent, teacher, trust the adult if they don't feel safe. Making sure if your kids old enough to understand to use a cell phone, give them a cell phone, and also you can format it in a way where they can call anybody else but the numbers that are already on there. Okay, now these kids know a little bit more than we do, so I'm talking about younger kids who cannot understand that. Make sure they have a phone, because if anything happens and they have to wait to use somebody else's phone, those few minutes there could mean life or death. So if they're old enough to understand how to use the phone, teach them about it during summer months. Okay. Again, establish emergency procedures, follow the school emergency procedures, decide on the meeting point if anything should happen. God forbid, if there's any kind of emergency in the school shootings, or all those different things, which is kind of sad, but it's something that we have to talk about. So making sure it's okay, if anything should happen to the school, this is how I want you to reach me. Please make sure that they understand also if there's any kind of active shooting, please follow all the different all the different instructions, and go with the teacher or go with the principal or follow the police made instructions. Don't scare them into knowing everything, but they watch TV, and by this time, no child's immune from watching TV and knowing what's going on. So make sure you talk to them about it, and it's something that the sign of the times. You could say this is not something I want to talk about, but that's something you have to talk about. Okay, so making sure you bring that up and talk about it, and talk about it often. Again, like I said, don't scare them, but talk to them about it. All right. If they ride the bikes to school, making sure they have their helmets. If they're in the car, making sure they have their seatbelt on. I know back in the day we used to sit in the back of the car and we look in the back and all that. If they're in the car, make sure they have their seatbelt on. Little kids that's supposed to be in the car seats, make sure they have their car seats. They're in the car seats, and as they get older, they got to booster seats and all. Even if they don't want to wear it, making sure they have it. And whenever they're in the car with anybody else, make sure they have it on. Okay. Avoiding backpack overload. Okay, I see some of these kids, and back in the day we used to, because we had our lockers, so you go from kindergarten, from first period to like fourth period, and you have all your books and everything in there until like maybe lunchtime, and you'll go change your books and go to lunch, and then get the next periods and all. But these book bags were so heavy, and it's not safe, because a lot of kids were having some problems with their back. And you start having back pain from that early, and your back, kind of your spine will curve eventually if you keep it in that position for a long period of time. So make sure that the backpack, they have enough there. They say if you need rolling backpacks, if the school allows it, go ahead. I know also now, because of the safety aspect of it, you can't really have, some schools will not allow an backpack that's like contained, where they have to be able to see everything in there. So talk to your school, making sure that no, I don't want them wearing a backpack that's gonna hurt my child's back. Okay. And they say at least it shouldn't be the backpacks. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that backpacks not to exceed 10 to 20% of the child's weight. I mean, because sometimes you see them and they hover there. So making sure you have the backpack that have wide shoulder widths, and make sure that they have it on both their shoulders, not just hanging on one side. I know back in the day it used to be cool to have it on one shoulder, but it's not safe. Okay. So excuse me 1 second here. Okay. Let me see my stuff here. Just gonna read a couple of Musa Shari said, thanks for your contribution to unsafe community. Thank you. Kato, hi there. Kato Tyler say hi, and Roberta Richard says watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Okay. So other one, stand up to bullying. Bullying is a serious problem, yet many victims don't speak about it. And I know understand when people say, oh yeah, stick and stone can break my bones, but words can hurt. Words can hurt, and words can linger for a very long period of time. So if your child is being bullied, have them talk to you. Don't get to the point where you're like, oh, I'm saying this, and you watch your attitude too, because sometimes it's like, oh my God, if I tell my mother this, if I tell my father this, they're going to make this a big deal, and they're going to go to the school and they're going to embarrass me, and this person is going to be even more. Just listen to them. If it isn't going, and watch their mannerisms too. Are they coming home? Is their mannerism changing? Do they feel sad? Do they look sad? Are they not? They don't want to be involved in family affairs. They don't want to be involved in school affairs. Start watching and keep an eye on that, and seeing, and then keep asking them what's going on. It could not be bullying. It could be something else, but keep an eye on your children. And I do understand some of us that kind of work that we do and the kind of hours that we work, you're not always home when your child is awake. And some people come home when the child's already asleep. But always take that time to just kind of be asking overtime and all that and listen to them when they talk to you. Okay. Don't put up any judgment. Just listen and be receptive when they tell you that. Because bullying, you see children every year. There's always child, you're talking about depression, anxiety, and then also the saddest part is suicide. So you want to talk to your child every and talk to them very often. All right. And set reasonable schedules. All right. Sports and extracurricular activities. I see some of the kids where, and the parents, okay, they're going to basketball today. They go into swimming this, but they got piano. This is all those things are important. And it really, improve their social skills and improve their when you hang around people and talking, and also when they hang around adults they kind of learn how to navigate those spaces and all. But over time that can be too much, because it's like, when do they have time to sit there and breathe and just have regular fun? Okay, I know you don't want to see a child just sitting there and watching TV, playing video games and all, but don't overwhelm them with so many responsibilities, so many different activities. I know some people want to also say, oh, this child's going to be the best basketball player, going to be the next LeBron James. They're going to be the next swim star. They're going to be the next this. They're going to be the next football player. Yes, we all want our kids to grow up and be very successful. But watch your kids, so don't overwhelm them with so many different things. Kids are kids. Allow them some free time to just play around and just be kids. Okay, don't overwhelm them with everything, and don't live your life vicariously through them, because there's some people like, oh, I was going to be this big football player and something happened and it didn't work out. So my child's going to do this. My child's going to do that. No, don't overdo them. And if they tell you, I don't want to do this, there may be a reason why they don't want to do it. Not saying, okay, well, you don't want to do it. That's okay. I mean, encourage them as much as possible, because you don't want them just stopping everything. But if they really don't want to do it, don't put them into it. And sometimes sit down and ask a question. Okay. Don't put them into it. Don't just give them free time. Let them just have free play. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. I did that. Okay. And we can set a reasonable schedule. So we did that. Let's keep talking. Okay, the last one is keep talking. Okay, again, like I said, we all know our busy schedules. Mom and dad can be like, okay, mom should stay at home, and don't feel guilty if you're a working mom. Don't feel guilty. Dads, this people say, okay, well, dads don't always feel guilty. It's like working mom. Okay, I have to work, and I can't take care of my children effectively if I work. Even people who stay home at home, sometimes they feel guilty too, because they're like, okay, you're not going to be able to get to everything simply because you're a stay-at-home mom. Okay, so don't feel guilty. Try to make it in a way where, okay, this is the things I'm going to do, and I'm going to try to make it so I can go to work, because people have to work. So now both parents have to work. If you're independently wealthy and you don't have to work and you want to stay home, that's fine. If you choose to go to work and still be able to take care of your kids, that's fine. If you choose to stay home and take care of kids, even if you can't afford it, because people will say, oh, well, we can't afford it. We can afford to find the things in life, but we still decide to sacrifice and stay home with our kids. Okay, well, that's you. Okay, that's you. Just because I'm working in my job and my husband's working his job doesn't mean we're walking around with like we're not working to get like the best things in life. We're working because we need to work to take care of our kids. Okay, so please, parents out there, especially ones who go to PTA meeting. That's why some people don't like to go to PTA meetings either, because they feel that some parents, they always be so judgmental of the decisions they had to make to go to work and do certain things for their kids. And also sometimes if that's you, if you don't want to go to the meetings, I think they have some online, and don't let it get to you. You had to make the decisions what you have to make. Nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors, and the decisions that you have to make or you had to make or have to make to take care of your family. Don't feel guilty about it. Okay, so open the door, keep the door open for your kids to talk to you all the time, and make it easy for them to talk. Again, for those of us who are from different cultures, I know sometimes, like, when it comes to you and certain things, like, be like, okay, you're doing this because you live in this other country, or you're not doing this. And when I was your age, I used to walk 12 miles to school with one foot of shoe, up and down the snow, down the river, and I didn't have, we all say that. So, and again, I also did a show on, immigrant parents, how they kind of push their kids a little bit to where, when, like I said, it's okay for your kids to be doctor, lawyer, engineer, and if they're not those three things, then nothing else matters. But there's so many other professions out there, so making sure that you don't pressure your kids too much. Yes, encourage them. Yes, want make sure that they work as hard as possible, but don't push them too much. And also, if you have daughters between the age like 8 to 9, and if they start a period over the summertime, make sure when they go to school that, start practicing now, that they have the little pouch with the little sanitary supplies, and make sure that they carry more than enough, because there's some people who have really heavy bleeding, and you don't want them going to school and feeling so mortified because they came home and they weren't prepared. They can also go to the nurse to get more sanitary supplies, but make sure they have that in a little pouch. They have their bag. Start teaching them how to carry a little pocketbook, because there will be times where they have to move from one class to the next and they have to go to the bathroom. They can just take a little pocketbook. Also for boys, this, they're going to be going to puberty at this time too, so have that talk with them. Okay, yes, some of the schools start talking about it like around the third or fourth grade, because kids start going to puberty around age, for girls is from age 8, for boys is age 9. I did a show on having the talk with for girls, and I also did the show on having a talk with boys. Everything that you're going to be expecting, I did that. So if you look down in my videos, I'm probably going to attach that to this video. So have that talk, because if they saw that period over the summertime and they go back to school, school's going to be completely different now. So, and you don't want to send your daughter, and also if they were playing sports and they saw that period over the summertime, how to navigate that, making sure that they know all the different sanitary supplies, and talk to the pediatrician about it. For boys, also have that talk too. Okay. And again, any if they haven't seen a period over the summertime, too, they're going to be probably expecting that. So at any given time, start practicing giving them supplies and watching them put it on and see how it's supposed to work. Because again, at any given time, they could be in class and it could happen. There's no set time it could happen, and it could happen while in school. So you don't want them like having like this that core memory saying, "Oh my God, I was sitting in my class and this happened and the kids were laughing at me and I felt so embarrassed and I had to call." And also, if you don't have that talk with them, you don't want them sitting in there thinking that they're bleeding to death or something's wrong with them. So, and if you don't feel comfortable doing it, speak to the school nurse. If you have a nurse or a nurse practitioner or any kind of provider, any kind of healthcare professional that knows how to talk to children, don't just get anybody to do it. And you want that person to have that conversation with them. Simply just call and say, you know what, my daughter's going through this. I don't feel comfortable, especially if you're like just a dad, not just the dad. If you're the dad and you don't want to have that conversation with your daughter, of course, you can always ask and say, can somebody talk to me? And you can also have this conversation with the pediatrician too, saying, by the way, can you just I will come over. It's like a medical management thing or medical counseling. Can I bring them over so you can have this conversation with them so they can be ready when they go back to school? Okay. So basically, I think I covered. I didn't want to make this too long today. So let me go back over and just review a few things here again. So make sure you update their medical records. Make sure you keep the immunizations updated. Review safety rules. Again, like I said, choose a code word and make sure that whoever's picking them up is taking care of them. They know the code word. They should not go with anybody who's guessing it until they get the word or they blot it up. Establish emergency procedures, like I said. Make sure they're wearing the seatbelts. Backpack, don't overload the backpack. If they have lockers, make use of the lockers so they're not carrying everything all at once. If the school allows it, they can have their rolling backpack. I talk to the school about it first. Stand up to bullying. Remember to be receptive enough, be open that if they come to you and tell you something that was happening to them in school, or the teacher's bullying them or whatever's going on with them, be receptive, keep an open mind and listen. And if you have any problems dealing with that, you can speak to somebody who's in like in social worker field, or the school has this. Most schools have social workers and they have the school nurse too. You can speak to them about it. Okay, set reasonable schedules. Don't overwhelm them with too many extracurricular activities. Allow free time. Let free time to play. Just be a kid. Okay. Keep talking, keep talking, keep talking, be receptive. And again, if they're going through the changes, make sure you talk to them. And for people who are going away to college, I know they're older now, they have lot more responsibilities, but please talk to them about all the different dangers that they're gonna experience when they go away to college, because they're not going to be under the same roof with you anymore. They're going to be coming together. Some people go to college, they go away to college to learn and have fun. Some people go away to college just to have fun. So your kids, make sure your kids are old enough to understand the difference, and so they stay away from people like that, or to be able to guard their mind and their brain about, okay, I came here to learn. Yes, I want to have fun too. These are not the things. These are not the values my parents instilled in me. Yes, they may slip a little bit, of course, but making sure that anything that's going to lead to any kind of criminal behavior or them having to get out of school because they weren't serious, make sure that doesn't. And if you find out that they're getting to the point where, especially if you have a good relationship and they don't want to be away, they don't want to go away to school, don't force them. Not everybody wants to go away to school, And also, if they want to go away to school and you don't want them to go away to school, come to a compromise, okay? Because sometimes it may be like, okay, you don't have to go away too far away where, okay, that way, at least if you're away at school, you're an hour away. So if anything should happen, I should come to you. And if they have medical issues and all, especially chronic medical issues when they go to college, they're not always up to date with that. They don't want to be different from their friends. So they may not take their insulin. They may not take their medication for ADHD. They may not take their medication for seizures. So please, please, please have that conversation with your kids and have it often. Okay. So that's all about safety. I didn't It's not comprehensive. Again, like I said, talk to your kids pediatrician and talk to other people in the family too, making sure that you talk to them. The most important thing is have the conversation with your kids, even if it's like once a month, once a week. How's it going in school? What do you want to talk about? And just ask open-ended question, because especially when they become teenagers, and boys mostly too, there is, oh yeah, everything's fine. Oh yeah, everything's fine. And make sure you also keeping up with the grades. And when you go back to school, find out how you're supposed to be getting the grades, when you're supposed to be getting the grades. So don't wait till like the last minute, because it'll be like, okay, everything's on the computer now. So you can just go up into the account and look it up, because the teacher will ask you, everything is up in the account. When's the last time you look up in the account to see where everything was going? Okay. So all the teachers out there, to all the principals, to the school nurses, to the cafeteria staff, to janitorial staff, environmental services, school bus drivers, counselors, everybody who is connected to our children and older children and those who are going back to school, especially for older people who went to school. We were the older people who went to like college and all that. I wish you all the best of luck. I wish you God's guidance, and I wish we all have a safe school year. If you see anything that is upsetting, or you see somebody who is like not on the up and up, like they say, if you see something, say something. Not saying try to get people into trouble, but at least, by you just saying something, you could save that child's life, and you could save them from doing other things as well. Okay. So please go there, enjoy the school year, have fun, and I wish you all a nice and productive year. And I will see you guys. I will see you guys on Friday, or I will be posting stuff, because again, like I said, for Fridays in the summertime, we have so many things going on. So leave your comments and questions below. Like I said, I'm going to link the video about having to talk with your daughters and having to talk with your sons as well, so the kids can have a productive year. So thank you all for watching. For those of you who tune in now, I say thank you. For those of you who would watch later, I say thank you all so very much. Thank you all for your love and support. And good night. God bless.